Okay, so eigen agents, and what's in here is every agent that you can create in eigen has got its own little entry in the wiki, and basically what we try to do is list all the parameters that you can change using bel canto inside that agent, plus all the verbs, so all the kind of actions that you can ask it to do. For example, the metronome will have like start and stop, or that's about it actually. So we'll go to, I'm just going to the metronome because that's a nice simple one to start with. Click on metronome, and you can see here I've got my metronome wiki entry. I need to scroll down to the verbs section. Here we can see all the kind of commands we can give it. So keep going. Here we go, verbs. So verbs, the first one I've got is start. So it's as simple as that with the metronome. Back to the eigen command. I've already said metronome listen. So it's quite literally as simple as typing in start. The metronome's the only thing that's going to listen to me and respond to my command. Press enter, and then, okay, so my metronome started. Like if you, the green light in the bottom right corner has gone green, and you can hear there's a drum loop running. And then the opposite of start is, of course, stop. So I'm still in the metronome listen, so I can say stop, and the only thing that's going to respond is the metronome, and lo and behold, the metronome stops. What else can we do with the metronome? Well, let's go and have a look back at the wiki entry. So we've got start, we've got stop, we've also got toggle start. Okay, so this is exactly like start and stop, except it's designed specifically for using talkers as it happens, but it means basically if I type toggle start, it will start. If I type toggle start again, it will stop. So it's just, is that? I'll move it so you can see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go. So it's basically toggling between start and stop. Just made a mistake. There we go. Okay, so toggle start is another one that we can use.
Is there a difference between the different versions of eigen in this?
No.
Okay.
It shouldn't be. Why is that?
Robin says in version 1.3.2 it isn't behaving quite the same way.
If you get more, maybe Robin, if you could give us a little bit more information.
He's going to try 1.2.11.
Okay. Still, it'd be good to know what the difference is. Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, so start and stop. So these are some simple verbs. Now let's see if we can create a couple of keys on here that basically control the metronome on the Eigenharp's keyboard. So I've got.
Sorry.
What's that?
Lost your screen share. Sorry.
Cool. All right. So I'll make sure. Well, I've got my new key group output selected already. So I hold down the main mode key, choose key 20, output 20. So that's lit green. I let go. Okay.
About this.
So we need to create a conversation now, and it's a little bit different. Normally, when we've been creating conversations so far, we've only had one thing really in the conversation, but you can in fact have loads of things listening to at the same time. So you could, so in this case, we need to have the talker that we've created plus the thing we want to create the talker for. So in this case, the metronome, both listening in our conversation at the same time. So I start a new conversation by saying empty join. And this basically tells eigen to join a brand new empty conversation with nobody in it. Now I say metronome listen again, so we've got the metronome in our conversation, plus I say Hungarian talker listen. So now I've got the metronome plus the talker in my conversations. This is the important first step in creating a talker. We make sure whichever agent we're trying to control is in the conversation, plus the actual talker that we've created is in the conversation. Okay, so now they're both in the conversation. Now you remember, to start the metronome, all I needed to say was metronome hey and start. Now to create the talker, I just need to add one more little bit of bel canto to the command to create this talker, and that is when x. Okay, so what would happen? So I put that before the verb is the rule. So I'd say when one start, what would that mean? Would create a key on key 1, that when you hit it, it would start the metronome. Or when, if I said when 5 start, it would create a key on key 5 that would start the metronome. And you're always counting from the top left. Well, you're counting in the order that you chose the keys, but in the default setup, it's chosen top left, course 1, all the way down. top of course 2 all the way down, course 3 all the way down. So that's the order you count in. Okay, so let's try that. So let's type in when. Let's do when one start. Press enter. When one start, check down here. It says OK. Okay, and it's worked. So if I bring this closer, you can see on key 1. Hopefully, it's quite pixelated today. On key 1 up here, there is now a little red key that when I hit, it starts the metronome. It won't stop it because it's just a start key. So that's all good. To create, so I could create another one underneath for stopping. I could say when to stop. And now I've got a key underneath, number 2, that I press to stop. So start and stop. Alternatively, I could say when 3. Because remember there was that toggle start as well, so I could say when 3 toggle start. And now, I'll have to come closer again. Now you can see that I've got 3 keys, start and stop. This one's toggle start, so I press it once, starts, press it again, and it stops. So there you go. So there's some really simple ones using the metronome. So let's try and make it a little bit more advanced, or a little bit more complicated. Sorry. Okay, so what else can we do with the metronome? We can change the tempo. So we can maybe try and create a couple of keys that change the tempo for us. So we go back to if we go back to the wiki entry quickly. Can you go full screen, please, Aaron?
Yes.
It's all good. There's also this section in the wiki entry for the metronome called examples. So it's basically got complete bel canto commands that you can type. There's one here setting the metronome tempo, so tempo to X set. So let's try that. So basically, let's do empty join. So brand new conversation with nothing in it. Get the metronome to join, so metronome listen. So I now have a conversation. Before we had a conversation with the metronome and the talker in, now I've just got the metronome, basically. And let's try this tempo thing. So first of all, I'll start the metronome so we can hear the difference. So I just type start, press enter. And then I'll say something like tempo to 170 set. There you go. Or I could say tempo to 80 set. Okay, so that we can see that works. So let's try and right, and then stop it. So let's try and create a couple of keys on the Eigenharp now that change the tempo between 170 and 80 beats a minute. So we've already got a conversation with the metronome in it. Instead of starting a brand new empty one, we could just, to be honest, just add the talker. So I say Hungarian talker listen. Press enter. Now we've got a conversation with both the metronome and the talker in it. So now we have to create a bel canto command that puts a key on here that changes the tempo of the metronome. So we've done the first step. We've got a conversation with the metronome and the talker in it. So we need to insert this little when X phrase into the bel canto command somewhere, and basically it always goes before the verb. The verb goes at the very end, and the verb could be something like start, stop, or set, or toggle start, and the when X bit goes just before the verb. So in this case, the verb is set in this sentence here, tempo to 170 set. You're telling it to set the tempo to 170. We stick the when X just before the set, so it happens to be tempo to 170 when X set. So we can type in tempo to 170 when. So I want to do it. I'm going to put these keys at the top of course 2. So I know course 2 starts from, well, key group 99 is 23 deep. So course 1 is 1 to 23, and I know that course 2 in that case is 24 to 46. So I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put it on key 24 at the top of course 2. So I say tempo to 170 when 24 set. So that's tempo to 170 when 24 set. Press enter. Just check down here that it's worked. So that's all good. You can see it says OK. And now, actually, I'll create the 1 to 80 first so we can actually hear the difference between the two. So I'll do another one as well underneath it, tempo to 80 when 25 set. So hopefully you can see that. Press enter. Just check down okay. Yeah, all good down there. And then I'll come back over here, and hopefully you can see that there's now two orange ones as well on keys 24 and 25 of key group 99. So if I'll start the metronome using my toggle start key, and then I can change the tempo to 170, and I can change it to 80 there. So there you go. So we're building some more stuff. So we can, in fact, I mean, that is enough information, really, for you guys to basically take any bel canto command that you can imagine and assign it to a key on here. As long as you have both what you want to control in the conversation, the talker in the conversation. You type in the bel canto command like you would normally, but you just before the verb, you put the when X, which is when whichever key on here, when X set or when X start. So I guess I should do another example just to so we can be thorough. Let's do something. So I'll start a new conversation. Empty join. So let's do what have we already looked at? Okay, we've done the intervals between courses. That's a good one. So like for example, if you wanted to tune it like a guitar, you could have a talker on here that sets all the intervals between the courses to a certain thing. So empty join. Let's do it with key group 1. So key group 1 listen. So I've got what I want to control listening, plus I need to put the talker in, so Hungarian talker listen. So now I have, in my conversation, I have key group 1 and the talker, Hungarian talker. Just check it says okay, yeah. Okay, so say I wanted to set course 2 offset, like so the interval between course 1 and 2, I can say it was 2 octaves. So I could say, so the normal thing I would say to make that happen would be, I'd write it out but I won't hit enter, course 2 offset to 24 interval set. Okay, so course 2 offset to 24 interval set. That would be the normal bel canto command that I would need to type in to change course 2 offset to 2 octaves. But I want to create a talker instead. So all I need to do is put when X in front of the verb. The verb in this case is set again. So I literally just write when say, let's do, so that's 46, that's 47. Let's do the next course, top of course 3. So I say when 47 set. So it's exactly the same phrase. I've just put in when X in front of the verb. So course 2 offset to 24 interval when 47 set. Press enter. And then let's do another one just so we can switch between the two. So I'll say course 2 offset to 1 interval when 48 set. Maybe you can see that. Course 2 offset to 1 interval when 48 set. So now hopefully I've got one key that switches the offset to 24 and one that switches it to 1.